What exactly is spooking investors now?
Well, the latest is the report that there is some kind of uncertainty and disagreement among Guangdong officials over just what type of plan they're going to put in place to try and save Evergrande. Local officials have been advised to take a market-oriented approach to Evergrande. That's in line with the kind of rise in defaults that we've seen more generally and this kind of broader move to curb risks. But of course, that did help send that 2025 note, that key dollar bond, to about 36 cents on the dollars. But of course, we are already in this sort of very negative news cycle with Evergrande, where the bonds, we are seeing dramatic drops every time there is a piece of negative news. And
I wonder if the billionaire founder can he still kind of rely on some of his poker friends to help him out as well? Tell us a little bit about the losses some of these people have played in trying to help him.
Yeah, there have been some very clear sort of pain points. I think one obvious one is the NEV, where you see kind of $3.4 billion worth of investments among 6 investors with a 12-month lockup period. The value of that has dropped about 70%, at least so far this year. Another key area would be Asia Orient, where they've amassed about $1 billion of bonds, $230 billion so far this year. So there are certainly these kind of key investors who over the years have stepped in every time we see one of these kind of liquidity crises. And of course, the value of those investments has really plummeted over the past 6 months in particular.
And we saw the earnings coming out of Huarong. It's eye-popping, the numbers, of course, as well. Does that have any implications about what happens with Evergrande in any way?
I think certainly investors and analysts are looking as to whether a bailout, the state-led bailout that we've seen at Huarong, means anything for Evergrande. I think the consensus is that ultimately we're not going to see this type of kind of state-led lean-in to save Evergrande. I think there is a belief that Beijing sees that Evergrande should be able to solve its own problems. The other interesting thing here is Macquarie economists have pointed out this interesting phrase that's occurring now called secondary risk. Looking at just how much secondary risk firms like Huarong or firms like Evergrande have, with the idea that property firms are much more able to manage that because of the assets and because of the land that they have.